Hello guys, hello, how's it going? Jill on True, this is also sound check. If I'm...
Hello guys,
oh,
hello.
this sound is working. If I'm a little too quiet, just turn me up. My mic is not that good. So if you're just joining, give the video a like and we will get more people in here. Okay, so for those of you who do not know, this is a D'Deridex Warbird I've been working on. As you can see, I've done some work offline, non-streaming. I've pretty much got most of the basic shapes done, and what I've done is I've filled this in a little bit more than the standard D'Deridex, because this is more like an Andrew Probert D'Deridex, where he intended this to actually be a huge hangar bay down here. And I have some ideas on how that's going to work. So yeah, so I'm doing things a little bit different than what the studio D'Deridex looks like. So if you're just joining, give it a like, and we'll get some more people in here. And so I have an agenda, as you can see on the list. There should be a list. You should see a list there. To do, I'm going to physically model a lot of the feather plating that you would normally see on the D'Deridex, and I've actually begun a little bit kind of mapping out how I'm going to do that, and then I'm going to start working on additional, let's see, what have I got in here, additional cuts and detailing. So like for example, there's a big gap on the spine I need to cut out, and then I'll be working on other details such as, what else? What else have I put on here? Disruptors, need to put the disruptor turrets, ball turrets on there. And the navigational deflector on the head, that needs to go on there. As well as the I have some ideas about an observation deck and lounge, officer's lounge. And then additional greebling. You can see that all out on the list as far as what I'm about to do. Good morning, Tom. Welcome. Good morning, Song Union. You're just joining me again, modeling this D'Deridex Warbird, more true to the original Andrew Probert version instead of the studio version. But this is sort of my, I guess you could say, semi-enhanced version of the Warbird. I'm hoping to make my D'Deridex Warbird look better than most of what you see on the screen. I hope. That's my hope. I don't know if it will look better, but I'm going to make an attempt to make mine look, in fact, even better. I'll just call this a second generation D'Deridex, like one that is specifically designed to fight the Dominion, etc. Hello, Monsoon. Good to see you, my friend. Hopefully your scheming is going well today. Okay, so like I said, feathering detail first. I'm going to continue. I started without you guys already just to wake up. It is morning here, so I'm still waking up, still getting into the groove, and still warming up. It takes me about an hour to fully warm up, but okay, so let us, you can see I've put a generic greenish shader on here. It's just a generic idea to give you an idea of what it's going to look like. And then the cycle shader is the more true shader. Unfortunately, when I do renders on here, I realize that you guys can't see them, and watching the old streams, I think when I actually push F12 like this, now let me add window capture. Okay, it probably just disappeared. I'll screw with that later. Never mind. Never mind. Let's go back to this. Yeah, in fact, the whole screen goes blank when I try to render. Oh well. I'm not gonna worry about that. Let's just get back to work. Okay, so let's get into edit mode on this bad boy. And then I'm going to make my feather pattern similar to the schematic I have, but this schematic I think is a little bit open to interpretation, so I'm probably not going to do precisely. In fact, I've already made one cut here. Let me work with that. So I've already cut some edges in here to begin with the feathering pattern. I also cut this here, which I think is a big radiator portion. That's going to have a lot of vents and grilling, and I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to model that. I'm going to use a bump texture for that grill. But for this feather plating, my theory on the feather plating is a combination of plasma vent as well as shield generator. And I'm actually going to make the edges of these plates glow. So I need to elevate it a little bit, and they're also going to have a slightly different texture pattern. So to do this, first I have to extrude all this. I'm going to actually extrude it several times. So it's funny how I lean my head when I'm trying to, as if that makes a difference. Oh gosh. Alright, I'm going to do a very light extrusion first. And then taking a bit of a risk here. Actually, let me go up just a little. I'm going to go up a little. I can always bring it back down if I have to, if I make it too big. And then what I want to do, I know that's too high, but bear with me. I'm going to tilt this whole thing. Yeah, this is a bit of a risk, but let's see. Tilt this whole bad boy in, right? Because I want the back edge to be, yeah, that's a bit of a risk. Instead of doing it that way, let's do it a little bit more proportionally. So we'll start with this pattern, this area down here. Well, actually, before I do that, you know what? No. Back. You know what? I'm going to start small and work up. I change my mind a lot. I change my mind about what I'm going to do, like, all the time. I'm, like, constantly saying, I'll start on something, then I'll be like, no, let's not do that, because I have another plan that might even be better. I have a very trial and error style to my modeling. Sometimes I have a plan, and sometimes I start thinking about a plan, and it boggles my mind about, you know, how I'm gonna actually do it, and then I stop thinking and just do it, and sometimes that works better. Alright, so I'm gonna actually make more than one extrusion. This could get complicated if I'm not careful. Alright, so the idea is so that you can see the feathered pattern. Come out of edit mode. There's different levels of a feather here, right? So that's what I'm going to do. In fact, you'll see it better if I go into this mode. Yeah. Doesn't have to be too obvious what I'm doing. Subtlety is a great thing. Where I was rewatching Discovery. Here goes a tangent here. I was rewatching Discovery. Yes, I know, masochistic here. And I was looking at their Enterprise. And I was comparing it to mine. And one thing that they have done with their Aztec plating, which is the specular plating, which makes all the little plates stick out, is I think they've gone a little bit overboard with it. Like the plates stick out too much, for example. And because of that, it looks a little bit, I don't know, gaudy. Whereas the Motion Picture Enterprise and my Enhanced Enterprise has a little bit more subtle Aztec plating, so that as it rotates or picks up certain light, you really see the plating. But in certain lighting, you may not see the plating at all, or barely notice it. And I think that is a better method of modeling, where sometimes you, let's see, okay, I'm babbling too much. Whereas sometimes you see a detail, and sometimes you don't. Okay, now exactly how I'm going to rotate this, I'm not sure. What I want to do is make the back edge a little higher than the front edge. I guess I can just do it along the global axis. Ooh, no, that's no good. No. No, sir. No, no, instead I'll just do it. I'll just do it this way. I'll just go by individual edge. That's what I'll do. That will be more accurate. In fact, as I do this, yeah, okay. I just want a little bit more space, because this is where I'm going to put the lights on the back of these feathers. Put them here along this edge here. And there's going to be a lot of lights. Right, so yeah, now see what it looks like on the mirrored side. You can't really see it that much, but that's okay. But this is going to have some lighting along the edge. Indeed, Tom, sometimes less is a lot more. Okay. Yeah, David, maybe someday I'll make a tutorial on the basics for setting this up, but for patrons. Or, you know, maybe I'll make a basics tutorial, and then I will make another one, a more advanced one for certain members or something like that. Okay, that's fine. I don't have to get too obsessive about the proportions there. And then here, gotta be a little bit careful here. Maybe I should do this by vertex so I can get this one. Oh, no, that's fine. That's fine. Back to this mode. This will work. Okay. Elevate that a little bit. Right, so the idea is the plasma is going to be coming off this back edge here. Now, right, so there's the first there's the first feather. Now I've got about 10 more to do, and then I've got to do the bottom as well. I figure this is going to be the more challenging bit than the rest of the things I have to do on my list. So I always like to tackle the more challenging bits first, so I don't have to worry about it anymore. Alright, continuing on to the next, and I'm just going to use my knife tool on these. Okay, I'm going to do this. I think I'll start. I'll just continue from where I was down here. So knife it there. And there. Actually, this looks like it. There. And there. And I'm gonna have to knife again from here. It doesn't have to be. It doesn't have to follow the contour precisely. Did that? Wait. There. Did that work? It's not working. Okay, so come on, knife. Doesn't want to work. Alright, well, I'll do it differently then. I know what to do. Let's see. I will just have to merge these vertices here to make this work right. Sometimes you have to trick the system into making it work. Now let's go back to the top. See what I've done. Yeah, that's fine. Alright, so I think I'll leave this edge intact. Boom, and I'm just going to knife again. From here to there. See, it's already got a lot of the edges I want intact, and that's fine. Then I'm going to go there, and I'm going to go all the way back up to this corner. Boom. Looks good. Go to edge mode. Alright. And I'm not going to follow these weird lines going down this way. I don't know why the schematic is that way. Maybe the Warbird really does look that way, but I can't reconcile in my head how that's supposed to work. So I'm going to make it like this feather pattern down here. So I'm going to do a knife again. Actually, let's go closer to this part. And let's see if I can kind of line it up with where I had it before. Go to there. There. And I'll end it. See, I don't like how I've done that. Okay, so I want to make this a little bit more weird. Okay. And it needs a corner. It's kind of messy, but whatever. Alright. Okay, I'm ready to extrude the next set of feathers out. So, we will then select the lowest level. Select all that. And I'm still tilting my head as I do this, because when I tilt my head, you know I can see things better. It's really important that you tilt so that you can get the right angle from your wait, I don't need that part. Okay, there we go. Boom, boom, boom. Alright, that part's ready to come up. Alright. Oh, actually, this little corner right here needs to be grabbed. I don't know what this is doing to my triangles when I have these weird things. Normally what you want to do is when you're building a mesh is you don't want to have vertices just hanging out in the middle of your surfaces, because it can create anomalies. And but I'm not going to worry about that right now, because all I'm trying to do is extrude this stuff. And I'm thinking I will never mess with those vertices again once I get them started. So I'm not going to worry about it. Monsoon's asking me, do you want this brand right? Oh, papa. Talking amongst yourselves. That's good. Make friends. Make space friends. Making space friends is always good. What am I doing? Oh, I'm doing it right. Okay. One layer at a time. Extrude again. And I'm not really worrying about how high I extrude these, just as long as I get the fill right. Let's just do boom, boom, boom. And extrude one more time. Whoa, missed a spot there. See how this looks over here. Yeah, that's starting to look good. Oh yeah. And when I actually get the lighting, on the edges, that's going to make some really cool effects there. Okay, boom. No, I don't think that this is Monsoon asks if this is the same one that carried the Cardassian Obsidian Order guys when they attacked the Omarian Nebula. No, I think those were the more earlier versions of Warbirds because they kind of sucked, and they got their asses handed to them by the Dominion. So this is probably a model that is a little bit later than that. Let's see. Okay, subtleties. I'm actually going to move these edges down. Actually, I wonder if I can just boom, 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 boom. You can let me rotate. Let's see if I can, since this is just one. No. Not going to do that. I'll do it by edge. There we go, changing my mind again. Alright. I think that this is already thick enough here, so no need to thicken that anymore. And here, let's do it this way. Let's go along normal. Bring that down a little more. Obviously, I have to do it here as well. And here. The question I have for myself is whether I'm going to mesh smooth this anymore or leave it. I might, but this is already, I feel like it's already, the smoothness is already sufficient on this. That's fine. That's already thick enough. It's already thick enough right there. Okay, let's see how many we got watching. 17 watching, not bad. Give it a like if you haven't. And okay, continuing on. See a dog out there. Okay, let's go to the top view again. Whoa, where you going, son? All right. Okay, let's just get to it. Knife. Next feather pattern is going to go right around here. And it's going to cut in this way. It's going to go this way. Let's see. Yeah, we can just connect it there. Oh, that's not. Oh, it's doing that thing again. That's alright. I have an idea. All I really have to do is just go to vertex mode, grab that vertex, and do a J, and that connected them right up. Made them friends. Made those vertexes space friends. No, David, I've never been hired professionally to do anything like that. Maybe someday I will be. But, you know, my whole goal is to set things up for myself so that I can do what I want to do. If I ever go to work for someone doing this, I'll be required to do what they want me to do. And I mean, what they want me to do is cool and fun. That will be fine. But I'm sometimes kind of what's the word? Sometimes I'm an extremely independent person, like to a fault. Like if I have to work for anybody, eventually, except for myself, eventually I just get really annoyed. But if CBS came to me and said, hey, we would like for you to maybe head up our design department for ships, you know, I'm honestly not sure if I would take it, because it depends on who's in charge. Like, if it was still the Alex Kurtzman executive producer kind of crew, I might turn it down. Be like, no, that's okay. I'd rather just make my own ships. Now, if Star Trek changed someday, and if it was a new crew doing it, like one that is more true to Star Trek, then I'd be like, yeah, you know what? I would love to work for you guys. Like if it were, say, the Next Generation crew, or even maybe Voyager, or maybe Enterprise in the 4th season. I mean, if I believe in what people are doing, I'm into it. If I don't, I'm not really into it. If that makes any sense. I have to, whatever job I'm doing, I have to sort of believe in it. Unless it's just, if it's a job that is just lowbrow Zen, like cleaning houses or something. I don't know. It's something like that. Okay. Alright, how's this looking? Alright, we're going to make another feather pattern back here. I'll be really relieved when I get these feathers done, but I have to do the bottom too. Luckily, in the original D'Deridex, there aren't really that many. Now, I don't know if any of you've seen the my Winged Defender model. But that one had a lot of little feather patterns in the wings. In fact, I'm going to have to do another video on that, on the Romulan Winged Defender. It's such a gorgeous ship. And for some reason, my first video on it didn't really get that many views. But, and that one is also kind of an enhanced ship compared to the original Winged Defender, which is still good. So what I might do is grab that model when I get ready to make the video for this, touch up the Winged Defender, and since that one might be considered a later version, I could have those in a video with this, escorting it or doing something. I actually have something in mind, but I'm not going to spoil you on, well, what am I doing? I'm not going to spoil you guys on what I want to do regarding other ships with this. But I'll take the Winged Defender model, and I may not finish this for, you know, as much time I'm putting into this in detail already. Uh-oh, I see a problem right here. Y'all see that? I see a problem. I didn't extrude that corner right there. Alright, Control Z. Z, Z, Z. There. Thank God for Control Z. But anyway, it may be a while before I finish this, considering how much time I've already put just into modeling it. Normally I'd be finished with a model in a day or two, but I'm putting a lot of effort into getting this right. So, and then I've still got all the texturing to do as well, and then the lights and other effects, and then animation when I actually do animate it. So I mean, it may be a while before I finish this. So in the meantime, before I finish it, I should grab my old Winged Defender model and actually make a video regarding another video regarding what it can do. By the way, I might not be able to read all your chats. If you really want to get my attention, just send me a super chat. Give me money. Give me your money. But all right, so. But I will try to read your chats. I realize my stream following is relatively small compared to other channels right now, so I will be happy to read your chats when I have a moment to take a break. Alright. And this one. I have been using so much extrude with Blender. I didn't use as much extrude when I was working with 3D Studio Max, but extrude seems to be my go-to tool with Blender. And luckily there's about 5 different ways you can extrude something, but I've been using the hell out of it. Alright. Okay, now the front ends, I'm gonna lower those. Now that I've got the technique down, I can speed up a little bit. Let's go along. This will go global. Make that. David Carafa sends in $1.99. I like that, how you got that just 99. Have I modeled the NX-01? I have not modeled the NX-01. It's not my favorite. It's one of my least favorite enterprises, to be honest, until they add like the additional drive section on the bottom, which I know that Doug Drexler was planning to do. He was planning to add a rudimentary lower hull section like the original Enterprise. And then that was your first ever super chat. Well, David, thank you. I really appreciate it. I appreciate that. But anyway, it's okay. You know, there's a lot of debate about the Enterprise NX, about whether it is a ripoff of the Akira, because it does have a lot of the same lines as the Akira class, and there was, I think, in on a Trek Yards interview, Doug was saying, well, the producers were thinking about just using the Akira model for the Enterprise, which would have been a bad idea. All right, this is kind of funky. Yeah, I'm just gonna leave that. No need to potentially screw up that. And yeah, except you know, he did point out a lot of subtle differences, which is true. It does have some subtle differences between the Akira. But it's okay. It's not my favorite Enterprise is the TMP Enterprise. Yeah, I see an anomaly here. Why? Why? I can't see it on this side. No, I don't see it at all. This is the what this mode here is called the cycles render mode. It gives you a preview of what there's two renderers in Blender. There is cycles. Yeah, that looks all right. There's cycles and there's Eevee. Eevee, this is pretty much the Eevee renderer here, and it uses different algorithms. Still, okay, I think it has to do with how I've got my elevations on that. So yeah, Eevee uses a different algorithm. Yeah, I think the problem is right here. I see what's going on. But Eevee is much faster, and if you're doing something kind of low detail, Eevee works pretty well. But I have to use cycles, because cycles actually uses algorithms to calculate the bounce effect of photons and ray tracing and all that good stuff. And it does sort of a pixelated render until you turn it up. And Carafa agrees there's definitely an Akira influence. Just really enjoyed that ship in the show. Yeah, you know, the Enterprise series, I have mixed feelings about it. I'd say the first, second, and well, the first season was passable as far as most Star Trek seasons go. Scott Bakula was finding his footage still, finding his footing still in that role. However, when they got into the Xindi arc and the temporal Cold War stuff, it's like, oh god, what a mess. And they also kind of did some things. There was one scene that really upset me when Scott Bakula, as Jonathan Archer, was torturing a Xindi, I think it was a reptilian, to get information. He was torturing somebody during the whole temporal Cold War event. I mean, he was doing, if not out, I mean, he was torturing the guy to get information. I'm like, no, this is not Star Trek. However, by season 4, it really got better, and I honestly would have liked to have seen more of it. Anyway, getting distracted. But yeah, so I have mixed feelings about. I think Enterprise was really when, to be honest, Star Trek kind of started to go astray a little. That is my opinion, and it is just my opinion, but it does seem to me that is when it kind of started to get a little messed up. And season 4, it got better, but it wasn't in time. And for that reason, that is one of the reasons it got canceled. Okay, moving on. Again, I have to remind myself I don't really have to follow the schematic, since fact, come out of transparency mode so I can see what I'm doing. That's better. Too much junk. Alright, so that's going to be there. Okay, I go down this way. I kind of want to match it up with what I've done before. There. And then that's going to form its own natural feather pattern there. And then how to get this just right is going to be kind of a challenge, but there, and then I'm going to come down to about right there, 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 there. I'll be quite pleased when I get these feathers done there. All right. You have no idea how happy it's going to make me when this part is done. Then hopefully when I get to the bottom I can just zen out and just do it. I might not even look at the schematic at all, but there are some details on the bottom that should be there. My hope is to keep a lot of the signature things, the signature features that make a D'Deridex, but indeed make some changes as well. Boom. They're good, they're good. Boom. Should I even bother with this? No. Maybe I'll leave a gap there. No. Yeah, yes, I'll leave a little gap there. A little gap in the feather pattern. Alright. Whoa. Boom. Okay. Now this section can be extruded. Zoop. Just a little bit, not too much. And then we're going to we're going to unselect this lower part. Sort of layered extrusion. I hope I'm not messing this up. I hope that I should have confidence. I think it's going to look fine. I had a thought that, you know, just now, just a fleeting thought that maybe, perhaps, just bump texturing these feathers would have been better. But then I wouldn't be able to get the glow effect along the back the way I'd hoped, so it's a little bit high. Whoa. Okay. And the rest. Extrude that bad boy. Oh yeah. Did that come up enough? Let's see. Go up a little higher. Not much of a fall off there. There we go. Okay. Good. Sweet. Alright, my instinct is just, whoops. Let's grab these things and just go like, oh, just go like that. No, I better not do that. I don't want to warp my doodads, so I hate it when I warp my doodads. Down there just a bit. Boom. Okay. I think I'll bring this vertex down so there's not such a, or this edge down just a little, since there's not such a disparaging, not such an abrupt drop off there. Okay. Excellent. Yeah. Two. And then as a cat, it must be really difficult, scientist cat. When you warp your doodads, it's probably rather unsettling for you, for the feline. When they warp their doodads, let's go global. And I'm just kind of working these down. Alright. Alright. Come out of, ooh, yeah, I think that's gonna be freaking badass. I think it's gonna be freaking badass. Let's go out here to... It's a little bit of an anomaly here. Oh, you know... Oh, this right here. Okay, tab. You know what? This is not... There's no need for this. This looks bad, so I'm gonna combine all this jazz. This is not... This is just unnecessary junk right here, so let me start merging all this crap here. This is not how we do things in the Romulan Empire. We're precise. We're not sloppy. Leave that to Klingons. Oh, y'all are gonna get sick of my Romulan content soon. I've got so much. Oh look, there's all kinds of weird stuff going on here too. Oh, look at that. Look at that. Let's see. I need to do some Klingon stuff at some point. But hey, I'm a Romulan fan. You do what you like. And honestly, because of Picard, Romulans are a little bit hot. They're kind of trending lately. Well, Scientist Cat, I have a theory on why the D'Deridex has a split hull like this, and I will be explaining that in the video. It has to do with the D'Deridex's secret abilities. Folks, I am out of coffee. Well, I've got some coffee over there at my coffee bar, so I'm going to go over there. I'm going to get some more coffee, and I will be back. I wish I had some Rock de Gino. I bet you there's a recipe for Rock de Gino online somewhere, and there's coffee and there's nebula. See if I can talk like Janeway. Set a course for the nebula. There's coffee in that nebula. How's my Janeway? Set a course for the nebula. There's coffee in that nebula. Alright, I'm getting goofy. Okay, so yeah, I'm getting happy with this as I build it. I'm getting pretty happy with this. Now, all right, let's go back to the top view. X-ray mode. Let's turn off X-ray mode. How am I gonna, let's see, I've got to figure out, I've got to make a decision on where I'm gonna stop with this feather pattern. And I don't have to follow the schematic whatsoever. Let me look over at one of the actual I'm looking at some images which you can't see that I'm looking at. Alright, so I have to make a decision. We'll follow this feather pattern, and eventually it has to deviate from this edge and start going. We'll follow it to about, I guess, right around there. Alright, so you know what I'm going to do, just as a marker. Say we'll make feathers, and this, I'm going to just extrude this little thing just as a marker. Or actually, I'm just going to delete it. So that's serving as a marker. No, I'm going to extrude it. That's going to tell me where I'm going to pretty much stop feathering this thing. Meanwhile, I'm just going to continue. I think what I'll do is kind of use this vent area as an array guide, so it kind of shoots out this way. You know what I mean? If y'all know what I mean. See how many people we got watching right now. We have 24 watching. That's not bad. My numbers are slowly coming up. The other night I had 30 something watching by the end of the stream. People tend to come along and stay, so yeah. Alright. Next feather pattern. Knife. Trust in thyself. Let's go out this way. Getting a little bold here, aren't we? Go this way. Alright, so that's going to be a feather. Alright. Then this way. This way. Inner. And this is pretty much just a block here. Go from here. Let's go from here. I'm just eyeing this. As you can see, I have to tilt my head so that I can, you know, get all the angles right. Even though I'm looking at a 2D image, technically, I have to tilt my head because that's the only way I can see right. Yeah. All right. And then from here, there to there. It's almost this third feather section is starting to get a little too small to even bother, but I will bother because I like it. Okay. All right. And this, you know, this is too. Boom. Boom. All right, here we go. Time to begin the extrusion process. Ooh. Ew. As I'm coming back, I don't like how this. Okay, let me go. See, I think that last one needs to be a little bigger. So let's go from there, there. See how that works. And then, of course, here. To there. No, I don't like it. I don't like the last part I did. Okay, so let's do it this way. And I am picky sometimes about how precise I want this. I really am. Let's try it that way. Let's go. I'm going to go from this little corner right here up to there. The only way I can do that, since I can't knife it, this vertex and this vertex, J to make a path. Now I've got a line there. Okay. It's got to look right. Okay, so 3. There we go. This has a significantly bigger gap than the last one right here. I don't know if I like that. I'm being really obsessive, but that's okay. All right. Oh, jeez. Face mode. I was expecting this feather part to get easier as I went down, but it's actually getting a little bit more of a challenge to make it look just the way I want it. Uh-oh. Missed a little tidbit there. Okay, good. Good. Have a little sip of my coffee. Alright. Is that? Bring that back down just a little. Okay. I need to go back and look up the shortcut for multiple deselect on Blender, but it's like it's stupid. Like, you can do shift select and do a window like that, but there's no easy hotkey for deselect. It's some convoluted combination like shift B Z3 or something, some bullshit like that. Like I said, I love Blender, but there are some things about Blender that can be rather annoying. Whoa. Okay, good. Yes. Most excellent. C and let's see what that does. C middle mouse button. No. Hey. I don't know what you made me do, but I'm. Oh, that's how you deselect. Well, let me see. C middle mouse. Oh, look at that. That works. Thank you. What? I gotta get out of this. Thank you, German Trekkie. C and hold the wrong. Oh wait, yeah, and Dr. Romer. See, that's one of the reasons why I'm live streaming. I pick up these little tips. All right. Okay, so I'm gonna bring, just like before, I want to remain consistent. I'm gonna bring these forward edges down a little bit. Some of you Blender geniuses have all kinds of tips for me occasionally, and I'm not so arrogant that I will not take them, because I think they are quite helpful. Let's actually do this from the face. From the face. Face mode. Number 3. C plus left mouse button to select. Oh, that's a cool. Okay, I might try that. see. Oh, this to select. Oh yeah, that's kind of nice. I kind of like the select box better though. Escape. But to get the select box, you have to go Shift Space B, which is kind of a convoluted path. One thing that one guy told me, which was very nice and helpful, was to move a vertex along the edge, double tap G, and you can move it like that without having to worry about your surfaces getting all warped, which was really helpful in some instances. Luckily I've memorized that. And sometimes I look at these videos that have like, they'll go over like 100 tips, Blender tips in an hour, or you know, like what all the shaders do in 30 minutes, and they just go through it all, and I see about 50 things that I find really helpful and then immediately forget it. It's like I'd have to go back and look at those and take notes, and then you'd have to actually remember something, you have to use it over and over again, and you know, get some sort of mental context on its application. Alright, that's looking pretty good. Okay, next pattern. Let me just go to... Oh, yes. It's actually looking like bird feathers. Unlike, now see, this is what I'm talking about in the enhancement. Unlike the TV studio models, that you can't quite tell that, you know. So even though it is a beautiful design and model, and they obviously put a lot of work into the head section, you know, you can't really see that it's what they're trying to do. Alright, so I'm hoping maybe I can get 2 more. Well, see, I'm gonna have to start making my line patterns from here as well. Probably need to get at least 2 or 3 more just to preserve the proportions of what I'm doing down here. The better than videos, tutorials, just assume you know all the tools and shortcuts. Yeah, like these ones where they're modeling, say, a car or a Star Destroyer or something in 10 minutes. Those ones, they just assume that you know all the shortcuts, and of course they're not modeling them to the exact detail. You know, they're ad-libbing a bit. Okay, let's see. All right, just go for it, man. Just go for it. Just go for it, man. Just go for it. Yeah, this feather. It's gonna be a little funky. You know what, I might put another one just in here, just to fill in that gap. Maybe what I'll do is start making a bunch of cuts, and then I will figure out, instead of extruding one at a time, I'll start just extruding a bunch. Because from here I can kind of see what I'm going for. I wonder if the no, that's not right. I wonder if the Romulan engineers use some of the same strategies I'm using with this. Now, they're probably a lot more precise than I am. They're probably like, you know, they're probably very... Okay, so this right here doesn't want me to cut. This right here doesn't want me to cut. Why? There we go. Okay, back to the top. Boom, boom. Boom. Oh, these feathers are happy space friends. Isn't that nice, as Bob Ross would say? We just have a nice family of feathers here, and they're all just getting along just great, all working together. All in harmony. Why not, Anik? Why can't you use the knife tool? I try to avoid it. I prefer to use loop cuts. But is it a spatial awareness thing? Is it like, oh, I can't figure out what this damn thing is doing? Is it something like that? I find it pretty useful for stuff like this after you've got your geometry already laid out, because it can potentially screw things up for you if you get a bunch of knife cuts and then you go back and just arbitrarily move shit around. Loop cuts are the proper way to go, but I can't wrap my mind around how I would loop cut this thing so that it would be kosher. Not for the feathers anyway. Edjo says Bob Ross was a drill instructor in the Air Force. Oh my god. I can't. No way. What? Drill instructor in the Air Force. He must have been the most chill drill instructor. He was a drill instructor in the Air Force. What? Mind blown. Okay, this is starting to look a little messy, especially that last one. Yeah, that last one was a little bit... Yeah, I need to follow the array. I'm going to do this properly. Follow the array. Follow it. Follow the array I have laid out. I'm almost done cutting this. Okay, moving on. Alright, so from here, we're getting pretty close to where I don't have to do this anymore. And that will be fine with me. Because reasons. Yeah, there's that. Another way I could have done the feathers, if I had started this hull with a sphere instead, then I'd have a proportional array of edges to work from. And at this juncture, it's looking like I really don't have to do too much to continue here. There. But I didn't start with a sphere. On the head I started with the sphere. On the main hull I started with a box. and that was fun. Okay, so I'm really ready to stop. All right, so let me come back down all the way to here. Start trying to figure out how to wrap up these feathers. Because I'm getting tired of them. And I have to do it all over again on the bottom too. Alright, there's that. I'm going to go ahead and eliminate this fix this thing. And then edge. Make face. Make face, new face from edges. There we go. All right. So Bob Ross died of cancer. Oh, you're talking. Ross decided that if he ever left the military, he would never yell or raise his voice again. Sounds like one hell of an interesting fellow. Okay, folks, I'm just really eyeing it at this point. Oh, knife. I really like what I've done here in this sort of zigzag thing, though. This is zigzag pattern I'm happy with. Pleased with myself on that. Okay. I should probably go ahead and do some extrusions before I lose myself. Before I lose my place in the world in this already rather complicated model. Okay, yeah, let's start doing some extrusions before I go insane. Can't have interesting designs like this. Why can't new ST have interesting designs like this? The only ship that I really liked out of new ST, I do like what they did with the Enterprise, although it was an unnecessary departure from their original, and why they did that is, you know, a lot of it has to, the rumor is a lot of that has to do with contracts and licenses and all that kind of stuff. But what I was gonna say is that what was I gonna say? Oh, the Shinzo is probably okay. The Shinzo is probably the one I like the best out of new Star Trek, but we didn't get another Shinzo. Some of the original Ralph McQuarrie drafts that they derived the Discovery from actually look better than what they did with the Discovery, in my opinion. Discovery is such a blocky kind of ship. Quite blocky. You know what? Alright, I'm gonna try your trick. Was it something middle mouse button? Was it S middle? No! Look what y'all made me do. Shift middle mouse button. What was it? The deselect tool. Let me scroll up. I don't remember. C. Okay, it was C left mouse button. C. Oh, C middle mouse. Okay, I gotta get rid of all. I don't want want. Don't want. Okay. Yeah, I'm changing my mind in the order of how I want to extrude some of these. Don't worry, I'm not freaking out. I'm not freaking out over here. I'm just ran down one hallway and decided I didn't want to go that way and turned around and ran down a different hallway. That's all. That's all. Nothing to be worried about. Voyager, Noview says that Trek died for him during Voyager. I can understand that. Voyager wasn't offensive to me. There are certain aspects of, starting with Enterprise and starting with the 2009 movies, that were just offensive to me. So, and especially with Discovery and Picard, there are certain things that just outright offend me. I know it's weird to be offended about a TV show, but there are certain aspects that just, it's like, why? Alright, focus. There's going to be a lot of sort of faces in here that when I do my UV mapping, that'll be in between, but I'm not going to worry about them. There's a UV mapping on this is going to be a long and arduous process, which I probably will not stream because it's rather boring compared to what I'm doing here. So, yeah, David, it wasn't the politics that are offensive to me. It's the overall mood of Picard and Discovery that are offensive to me. The dark, brooding, really Game of Thrones feel. And I don't know if any of you have seen Major Grin's channel. He does some brilliant work showing Star Trek clips from old Star Trek, The Next Generation, etc. And he just sort of demonstrates how things have changed in Star Trek. And Major Grins is amazing. But there was one where Alex Kurtzman was saying, you know, we can make, if Game of Thrones can make it their pay for access service work, then we can make CBS All Access work. We just have to figure out how they did it with Game of Thrones. It's like, oh, Star Trek is not Game of Thrones. It will never be. It's not supposed to be that. It's, you know, it was always something for deep thinkers. It was, you know, Game of Thrones is not Star Trek. It's not Star Trek. Stop trying to make Star Trek Game of Thrones, because it's not. It doesn't have to be. It can be dark. It's okay to be dark occasionally, but dark all the time? No! There must always be a shining light somewhere in Star Trek. And there just isn't much of that in modern Star Trek. It's just extremely, it's like a gloss. It's all an it's either an emotional gloss or a cinematography. The cinematography of the new Star Trek is really good, but they use certain effects to make you go, ooh, wow, but it's a fleeting feeling, because after they do that, they're back to plot and story that just doesn't make any damn sense. And gratuitous violence and gratuitous emotions. Like, I tried for the study of the visual effects to rewatch Discovery recently, and what they did a lot of, especially in the second season of Discovery, is that you would get an action scene. So, like in the middle of a battle, and then all of a sudden, Michael Burnham would have an emotional moment, or some of the characters would have an emotional moment while they're trying to get something done, because if they don't get it done, they're all going to meet certain death. But then they have an emotional moment, and they pause, and they have music and crying. There is a lot of crying in Discovery. Like, I guess whoever the director was, or Alex Kurtzman or whoever, must have had a bottle of pepper spray on him. And they would go around. I mean, like, you can't get through an episode of Star Trek Discovery without Michael Burnham giving a little cry, some little moist eyes somewhere. And the other characters too, they do that as well. So I swear the director had some pepper spray so he could make people cry at will. And you get that nice emotional moment, but it's all a gloss. It's sort of like a lens flare. It doesn't really have any substance, especially the second time you watch it, and you start to notice, certain things that just don't make any sense. For example, in the second to last episode, they're trying to figure out where to go to find a red giant on the verge of going supernova, so they can collect the right amount of dark matter to make the time crystals work, and they only have an hour to figure this out. So apparently there's a signal that will take them to where they need to go. So they figure that out, and they spore drive there. And in the next episode, Sarek and Amanda show up on the Discovery to say goodbye to Burnham. They just show up there. They only have an hour to go, and somehow Discovery has spore jumped something like 90 light years. And Sarek and Amanda, during this process, have figured out where to go meet Burnham just so they could say goodbye. How did they know to go? I mean, like, and they surprise. It's a surprise for Burnham that they make it. It's a surprise for me. They just show up and they're there, among many other things that don't make any sense. Oh yeah, and the Control took over the Discovery. They were gonna destroy Discovery. They engaged self-destruct, and they evacuated to the Enterprise. And then because they were going to engage self-destruct so that the data wouldn't get acquired by Control, so they evacuate. They go over and they find out that they can't destroy Discovery anymore because Control has taken over Discovery and raised the shields and canceled auto-destruct. So they're like, oh, well, now we have to go back over to Discovery and pilot it through a black hole that Burnham's going to create, or a wormhole in time that Burnham's going to create for us. But wasn't Control taking over Discovery and actually raised the shields on its own? And then they go through an entire battle, but Control was supposed to have taken over the ship. So how can they go through an entire battle? Like, that's never explained. Did they regain control of the ship? They would have had to, because Control is arbitrarily, or some software in Control is arbitrarily raising shields and whatnot. Sorry, New View. I'll get off my rant. I know, it's really complicated. Alright, enough ranting about plots. I'd have to make a video or something to properly explain what I'm saying here. Alright, let's go back to our happy Romulan ship modeling. Our happy Bob Ross Romulan ship modeling. We're just making a happy Romulan ship. Yes. Enough Discovery talk. Okay, so the sphere data took over the ship. And how were they able to take it into battle? Anyway. Yes, the answer is always transwarp beaming. That is always the answer. Or time travel. You can fix a lot of things with time travel. Thank you, David. Model discovery so you can destroy it. David says, gives me $1.99 and says, I should model discovery so I can destroy it. Yeah, maybe. Once I go down, once I go down the discovery hate mode with my YouTube channel, it will be a watershed moment, maybe. I might be overthinking it, but if I go down that road like so many YouTubers have gone, which shouldn't be an issue, but it just seems like a road to go down. I might start and never be able to stop, though. I don't want to be one of those channels that's about hate. Like, I'll leave that to Doomcock and you know, others that are just hate what's going on with certain, and they're not wrong, but I want to be about the more positive aspects of things. You know, one thing I really would, when I posted the drawing of the Mbinga hospital ship, people really liked it. That was a FASA design. They got so many likes and conversations. I think it has to do with the times, you know. And had I known that that would be so popular, I probably would have held off on that and done the Mbinga model instead as a hospital ship. You know, just as a demonstration of what the positivity of Star Trek is supposed to be all about. You know what I think I'm going to do, folks? I'll probably end up closing off a lot of these edges, melding them together, because it's right now it looks like a bunch of jagged crap there, and probably the same along this seam. I'll probably end up merging a lot of that together. I'm so ready to be done with these feathers, but I should enjoy the journey and stop worrying about how long it's taking. I'm starting, you know, throughout times in my life, I have begun to question the value of being in a hurry all the time. Anyway, just reading some of your comments. Have I done any Starfleet Museum designs? I'm not sure what that is. Starfleet Museum. Feel free to elaborate, New View, on what a Starfleet Museum design is. Rambling Rattlesnake says, what are your thoughts on Andrew Probert's concept for the Enterprise C? Honestly, the Enterprise C of Andrew Probert, I like it's okay. I mean, it's not bad. Nothing Andrew Probert does is bad, but honestly, I don't think it's as good as the Enterprise C they came up with. It's not very memorable. You know, I've seen Probert's Enterprise C several times, and it's I would probably know it again if I saw it, but right now I can't picture in my mind what it looks like. So that should tell you, you know, that should tell you what I think of the quality of it. Can't really remember it. Probably not that good, in my mind at least. It's okay. The question is, what do y'all think of the new Enterprise that they made for Star Trek Online. They made an Enterprise, let's see, F for Star Trek Online. And I do remember what it looks like, because it's got a unique feature that kind of distinguishes it from other Enterprises. And the Star Trek F from Star Trek Online. Do you all know it? That is the question. If you know it, let me know in the chat. If you know what it looks like. I am sort of a fan of it. Sort of. Future Enterprise D. Enterprise F. I thunk Jupiter class. So yeah, the Enterprise F, it actually has like a split neck. Yeah, it's got a double neck, and then it's got something, I think, in the middle that connects it to the drive section. It's got a double neck. It's probably a useless, arbitrary design choice, but at least it is something that distinguishes it, that makes it memorable. That's what you need. If you see something artistic, or even if it's a story, and you remember it, then it's probably a good story. If it's forgettable, it's probably not that good. Ugh. Of course, something really bad is hard to forget too. The Enterprise F is an Odyssey class. Big old box remote. Okay. Now what is going on here with this last doodad? What is going on? I don't know. I'll go with it. Looks like I might have forgotten something here with this pattern. I'm gonna go with it. Oh. I didn't forget anything. Maybe I did. Damn it. Maybe I did. What the hell? I don't know, this seems all wrong. Maybe it's not. I can't remember what my plan was here, and that's why I probably should have stopped cutting while I was ahead. I'll just take a moment to sip my coffee. Sometimes it's helpful just to take a moment to reflect. There are times when I will stare at a model for like 15 minutes to figure out what I want to do next. I'm not going to do that now, but yeah, sometimes I'll just take a break and let's just do a little cycles renders here. Let me see if I can. I'm gonna do an F12. The screen might disappear for a minute. I'm gonna do an actual render. I wonder if I can actually, once I render this, see if I can get this so that y'all can see it. Because if I look at OBS right now, it looks like everything's blank. That's because I'm doing a render, and it's the way I've got my OBS set up. Ooh, But honestly, this is looking pretty good. Okay, so let me... Boom. Now, can y'all see? Yeah, I believe y'all can see. Okay, so let me go... Now, can y'all see that? That is the question. Let me look over here. Yeah, so that's the recent render I did using Cycles Render. And I'm going to do another one. Do another render. Boom. Okay, let me go back to modeling mode. Go to the camera. Let's move this camera around this way. Do another render. See what's going on here. Rambling asks, what do I think of the uniforms from All Good Things, in-game and from Voyager? I honestly can't remember the uniforms very well. Okay, let's see here. I'm not sure how I feel about this next render. Maybe it's just the way it's picking up the light. And it may prompt me to, let me go to the render window so y'all can see what I've done. I feel like I could do something to make those feathers look a little better. Well, I mean, probably after I get some of the bump texture on here, it'll look better too. Some of you think it looks cool. The reality is we are often our own worst critics, and I'm certainly no exception to that. I'm self-deprecating to a fault, but I don't know. I'm probably going to do something to this feather pattern to make it a little more fluid. I'm hoping I can devise something. Yeah, oh yeah, Edge, the UV is going to be a nightmare. That's okay, I'm used to that. I'll be doing that off the stream. Unless, I don't know, I might not. What I'm thinking though, yeah, I'm pretty good at UV. I can do it. I'll make it work. But I do want to make this more fluid somehow. You know what I could do? That's gonna require some devising. So what I think I'll do is just go ahead and continue, because there's a lot more. I'm gonna have to devise a way to sort of make those feathers flow together a little bit easier. Meanwhile, back to figuring out what the hell I was thinking down here. Alright, I think I'll just... I probably need to make... I think I'm going to make a knife. From here to about there. And continue. Well, I'm glad this is inspiring you a little bit. That is what I love to do. I like to be inspired, and if knowing what it feels like to be inspired. If I'm inspiring somebody, I think that I've accomplished the mission in life. Okay, I gotta fix this. How to fix? I don't know. Let me dissolve that edge. Go back to the knife tool. Probably overthinking it. Let's do it like that. And then, yeah. Alright. Sometimes I get stuck. I'm like, what the hell was I planning to do, and why am I doing it this way? And how do I get around it? Okay, now this one, the moment of truth. Let's see what this looks like. That's not bad. Doesn't look as bad as I thought it would be. There may be an easier way to do this, and I'm just being overcomplicated, but that's all right. It's a method, and it works, sort of. Better to do something than nothing at all. Ah, what the? Jesus. I just wanted select, that's all I wanted. That camera, I don't like how Blender makes the camera something that gets in the way of what you're looking at. Okay, one more extrude. Well, that one's already extruded. Oh no, I've selected the wrong one. Dark. Been working on the wrong plate this whole time. Okay. Alright, just go. Just do it. Just do it. Do it. Do it. I'm probably going to fix the leading edge of a lot of these later. But I do need to lower these edges. Lower these right here. All these things. Bring that down. Good. Good. Oh, this is going to be difficult to select. Edge mode. Bring all these down. So I want to make the seam of the preceding plate actually appear. That way, when I put the lights on the thing, we will be able to see them. And I may have some polishing to do as well to make that work. No doubt. Of course, I could just do a subdivision modifier and see what happened. You know what? Let's do that. How many years have I been modeling? I first started dabbling in modeling. Honestly, I've always been drafting. Ever since high school, I've been drafting. And actually, I did CAD back in high school. That was a long time ago. So, a good bit of my life, really, when it comes down to it. I first got into 3D Studio Max about, well, 15, 20 years ago, honestly. But it was dabbling. It was mostly, I've been dabbling for decades. And then I'd say probably in the last 5 to 10 years have I really been ramping up my efforts. Are you just seeing the render screen, Tom? Let me look at my... Oh yeah, dude, you're right. Sorry. I don't know why that's happening. Yeah, let me fix that. Alright, I think I fixed that. I'm sorry. Been going on for 20 minutes or 15 minutes like that. I went through half a cup of coffee like that. Oh my god. Okay. Alright, moving on. I'm glad I noticed your chat there. I didn't think that would happen. Alright, now this next wing is funky. This is a funky wing. Funky wing! I wonder if the Romulans have chicken. And if they eat chicken on their Warbirds. They have fried chicken days. That would be hilarious. You go into the officers' lounge and you meet with the other officers for dinner. And they're like, "What are we having for dinner today?" "An Earth cuisine, sir. It's called chicken." "A fowl?" "Yes, sir. It's a fowl." Nice. Or however Romulans talk. "Fascinating, although rather an inferior choice. These humans are strange." Okay, I don't need this. Yeah, I do need it. I don't want it. I want it. Yeah, this wing is weird. I think perhaps I'm just gonna go with it. I'm just gonna go with it. No, I don't think Romulans are vegans. I think Romulans being as predatory minded as they are not vegans. Definitely not. I wasn't sure how I'm doing this was going to work, but I think it will. Oh, wait a minute. I just saw something. Boom. Bring that up. No. No. There we are. There we are. I wonder if I can devise a simpler method on the bottom. Maybe not have so many layers of feathers on the bottom, because we won't be looking at the bottom as much as the top, to be honest. Yeah, now you're seeing the lazy part of me engaging in thought about this, because I just don't want to have to do this whole thing again on the bottom. So I'm trying to devise some workarounds. Might look at maybe the bottom feather pattern, and there's a lot of feather patterning I can do. Like I'll probably do a little bit more with the bump texture when I get that going. I wonder if scientist cats, if Romulans have pon farr. You know, you should know in the a lot of the Star Trek novels, Saavik is a Romulan or half Romulan. Or there was one I can't remember if it was. I can't remember which novel it was, but it tells the backstory of Saavik, and that she was apparently a refugee. Not like 24th century Romulan refugee, but a refugee of a sort nonetheless, that they rescued, and she is in fact Romulan. And Spock was sort of her ward and took her in and taught her a lot of Vulcan culture, which I think is a fascinating idea. Or half Romulan, perhaps, yeah. The Star Trek 2 to 3 novelization, she was half Romulan. That's what Edge O says. Fascinating. I haven't read the novelization, but that is interesting. Interesting indeed. And I honestly can't remember much about the novel that I had read many years ago, and I can't even... It must not have been very good, aside from that, if I can't remember it. But she was sort of rescued, and that would explain a lot of her acting, because she is a little bit emotional for a Vulcan in Star Trek 2. You know, she's especially while taking the Kobayashi Maru test, she kind of lets loose a little bit in some of her emotions. Okay. Oh yeah, and she was actually bawling during Spock's funeral. All right. I think perhaps that is enough for feathering the damn top. I still want to do something about the surface of these feathers, and that's going to take some time to just devise a way of making these surfaces a little bit more fluid. And that, like, it could be just a matter of how I've got these bits and bobs here. Like, this is still wrong right here. This is still... I can just, it could be these little problems right here. It could be just a number of little things that I need to do. What's going on here? What's going on? This vertex. I guess I merged it. I don't remember. it could be what I could do is sort of bring these back and so that the auto smooth kicks in and makes these smooth edges along the front, and then actually add the edge modifier for the back so that the only areas where you see a really harsh drop off is going to be along the back edge of these feathers. But I will do that later. So let me just go and do some renders here. Render time. Wow, I've been at this for 2 hours. I've been at this for a long time, but you know what? This is fun. Okay, I'm running a render. If you've got a blank screen right now, let me check. You have a blank screen. It's just because I'm rendering, running a render. You'll see it in a minute. Ugh. It doesn't look as good from this angle. I'm gonna cancel that render. I've lost my camera anyway. Let me go to my camera. Let's go. Let's see. Where are we gonna render from? Let's render from the back, and also where this light is hitting it, so we can see what's gonna happen. Okay. Now I'm rendering. Yes, Scientist Cat mentions that Spock and Savick got together and got it on. I think that was in one of the... can y'all see that? I think that was in one of the Lost series novels. Let me go to the render... render window. Up. Damn it. Tab. Wait a minute. Where am I? What mode am I in? I don't know if y'all saw that render or not. I somehow got lost here. I lost my modes. Wait. Okay. There we go. There we go. Y'all can probably see that, right? Hopefully y'all can see that. So there's the render. I'm definitely gonna work with some of the edges on this. So before I forget, yeah, okay, good. Alright, let me kill this render. Before I forget, there's an indentation right here along this top dorsal section, and I need to cut that. So get back. Got my reference model there. Sort of a diamond shape cut. Nothing special. It only goes about halfway. It's not going to be exactly like the schematic, but I will make it more or less like it. Yeah, my model is pretty different from the schematic anyway. But I do need to put it. Let me look at the top view. I'll just go with this view. Alright, so let's make this work. I'm going to do a knife. And I'm just deciding where I want to cut this. Go there. there. And we're going to extrude this down. Francisco says, can't wait to see this in a future episode of This versus the Enterprise C. You know, I'm not convinced that the Enterprise C fought the D'Deridex specifically. They fought some kind of Warbird. But given that that was about 17 years before the Enterprise D encounters the D'Deridex. Yeah, Narendra. He's talking about the Battle of Narendra. That's where the Enterprise C, if those of you don't know, met its fate against the Romulans, trying to defend a Klingon outpost at Narendra. I think it was Narendra 3, trying to defend it. And then there was a rift time, and the Enterprise C was rushed off to the future. All that stuff. And then you have the episode called Futures Enterprise. I forgot what the name of the episode was. I'm not at that level of geekdom. Okay. Should be, right? Alright, so we're just cutting this out. You know what? This is actually a cut straight across. It's not really an extrusion in so much. So, yesterday's Enterprise. Thank you, Scientist Cat. That is the name of the episode. Alright, so in order to do this right, I need to make all of these edges on the same Z position as this edge. All right. And then I'm probably gonna, yeah. First I'm gonna merge that. And then I'll move all of these up. Let me just mark sharp on that one. And copy the Z position of that edge. Get them all on the same plane. This needs to go away. So that the mirror can work properly. Right. Vertex mode here. Ooh, looks like there's a spare vertex there that probably needs to be eliminated. Just merge those, keep things nice and clean. Alright, everything needs to be need to get all these in the same position along the Z-axis. Because this is pretty much a straight cut across. And it looks to me like some of these vertexes might not be quite in the center of my model. Yeah, look at that. They're not quite right. These need to be at X position 0. So that my mirror is worked out properly. Settle. That one's okay. That a little nicer. Ooh. This is kind of funky right here. Let's fix that. Let's make all of these the same. Control C. That's better. There's going to be two sort of domes that are going to go right here. I don't know what those domes are. Maybe you guys know, but I'm not sure what function they serve. But there's two domes you can kind of see on the drawing here. I don't think they're disruptors because they're not in a very good position to be disruptors. But there's two domes there. Maybe there's some sort of sensor array. Okay, so that's done. Let me just look at some more drawings here. Let me look at some more reference images here. Oh, thank you, Tom. $20. Tom sends me $20 and says nothing. Just simply gives me $20. See you later, Edjo. Thank you very much, Tom. Appreciate it. Alright, so I'm just looking at some reference drawings over on the side so that I can see what else needs to be done. Actually, let me just go back to Blender and go to the top. Alt Z. Oh yeah. I think Probert said all of these were escape pods, but I'm not going to model those. Oh, I do have to put something here. I have to put a couple of things there. Right, so one of them I think is actually supposed to be a photon torpedo tube. But to me, and the photon torpedo tube actually, the photon torpedo shoot from here. But my D'Deridex looks a little bit different. I think it would work better if I put my photon torpedo tube right in through here somewhere. I'm going to try to do a Boolean object. I'm not very good at doing that in Blender, but I'm going to try and actually cut out the torpedo tube. Maybe I don't need to do that. Maybe I'll just make a slit. I need to make two slits. Let me go to the top again. Yeah, I have a better idea. I have a much better idea. I'm taking some creative license here. And some of you purists may not agree with my decision. But what I'm going to do is cut out all these faces right here. In fact, before I do that, Let me actually knife it because I need a straight edge. Not loop cut, knife. I'm going to knife it from about there. Now, of course, I might, on my YouTube comments when this video comes out, I'm going to get some guy that says, actually, this slit right here is a torpedo tube. But I'm not going to make it there. And the reason why is because I don't think it's a very good forward firing arc. So so I'm going to make it, I'm going to cut it out right here instead. You'll see what I mean. Let me hide this front section here. Let's see what I'm doing. So my torpedo mine's gonna be here. I'm gonna do an extrude like this. Hell, this could be a double torpedo tube if I wanted to. Wanted to make it that. Alright. You know what? That's a little bit... Let's make this a little more fluid. Let's do a knife. Knife. Give that section a little bit more the dynamic look. I think I'll just cut it. I'll just do it this way. I'm going to delete the faces. And I think it's too wide. I think it's too wide. So we will, yep, as you can see, I'm changing my mind a lot. So let's do this. Back to edge mode. Turns out I don't need all those edges. Dissolve edges. Dissolve edges. Let's just do it like this. That's better. About like that. Okay. And extrude that down. Our torpedo tube's going to be actually back in through here. How I'm going to do that on the bottom, I haven't figured that out yet, but I'll figure it out later. I've unhided this. Alright, now I figure out my positioning here. I think what I'll do is just need to get this all in one plane. Ah! That's what happens when your model gets too complicated. Hide that bad boy. All right. And I forgot to extrude something. Okay, I don't have to worry about it. Thinking too much. Thinking too much. the floor of this is going to be on Z position 0.64442. I'm just going to Control C, copy that number, and paste it on my other vertices so that they're all on the same plane. And then I'll probably add a little more detailing to this in a minute, because why not? Now, to fill in this back part, just grab these edges. Extrude. Not like that. Extrude like that. Good. Then connect all this together. Good. Move those to center. Good, good. Okay. Now, I'm going to do something else. Y'all ready for this? Let me unhide everything. I know it looks a little funny right now. Do not fear. Do not fear. Do not fear. Go back to surface mode. Or, whoa. Okay, and y'all are probably going, oh, what are you doing? Don't worry, don't worry. Don't worry about it. I'm making a torpedo launcher. That's what I'm doing. I'm making a torpedo launcher. Oof. I am making a torpedo launcher. How about you torpedo don't? What? It'll look good. It'll look good when I'm done. Don't worry about it. Don't worry. Don't worry. At least I think it'll look good. I don't know. It might not. All right. Okay, move that. Now I wonder if I should make this, keep this as two separate doodads, or if I should make this one single doodad. It's kind of looking like the torpedo launcher on the Motion Picture Enterprise, isn't it? I'm going to keep it like that. And then I'm going to extrude again. Actually, go like this first. Yeah. I like that. See, I just came up with that. This is how this Romulan Warbird launches torpedoes. And maybe it can launch multiple torpedoes. What if I should make these deeper? Why not? Let's make these deeper. And maybe it can launch, like, you know, 6 torpedoes out of each one, for all I know. And it gets you a nice spread of, or maybe 3 out of each one, get you a nice spread of torpedoes like the Enterprise D can do, you know, out of each launcher, which is how I envisioned the D'Deridex's launchers to work. Yeah, I like that too. I think that works quite nicely, much better than the way Probert had his little vertical slit. This is a newer Warbird. Ooh, I see a problem though. Look. You know what? There's no problem here. Don't worry about it. There is no problem. There is nothing wrong with having a torpedo launcher right there. Nothing at all. Just block that from your mind. You didn't see that. Okay. I'm going with that. Good. Okay, what other details do I need? There's a few greeblets. Let me look at a reference picture. There might be some stuff I can do on the back that I haven't done yet, but I think I'm, you know, honestly, I may be done with at least that part. Oh, there is something I need to do, but I'm going to do it last. I don't know. I tell you what, I might add, let me look at the top. Oh, that's not the, yeah, okay, that's the bottom view. I'm going to hide that. Yeah, I unhid it all so you can see the bottom now. Let me hide that. Back to the top. X-ray. Most of this looks like I'm probably gonna do with bump texturing. Looks like there's some junk up here I could kind of work with. I'm looking over at some reference images, and yeah, I might be able to raise some platforms and whatnot. Oh, here's a good one. I'm not gonna raise all those little doodads here. I'm gonna use a bump map on this, but I do think that I can add a little more modeling detail here. So I am gonna do that. Let's see. Just put the diplomats in this room? Which room? Well, in Texas it's doodads, and I'm in Texas. Scientist Cat, and if you're in Arkansas or Alabama, it's doodle, or like a thingy doodle, and like if you're English, it's bits, you know, the shiny bits. I'm not sure what it is if you're Australian, but in Texas it's doodads. We have lots of doodads and deals. Those little deals, you know, all those little deals. We have a lot of little deals too. This is like one big rectangle here. My pun has flown over your head. Why not do mums? Oh, do mums. Yes. Okay. I get it. I get it now. Sorry. Sometimes I'm a little slow on the uptake, but not as much as you'd like to think. Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, I think I'll just knife this. I'm actually gonna go start at this corner. It's not gonna be exactly like this. Yeah, not gonna be exactly like the top schematic. I'm gonna do a knife in this corner. I'm gonna constrain this way so it's straight back, so I can make this nice little block thing. Boom. Enter. Then I might do it again over here. Ooh. Yeah. Okay. I'm honestly thinking, guys, that a lot of what I do from this point on, since I've got the basic shape that screams D'Deridex, you know, I've got that, and also the nacelles, you know, maybe I'll model the nacelles this session, but since I've got the basic shape that screams D'Deridex, I think the rest of it I can kind of take creative license, you know what I mean? So it doesn't have to be exactly like what we've seen before. In fact, that knife, that whole knife, I don't think that was necessary. I think it's better if I follow the faces I've got on here instead of the schematic. So that's what I'm going to do. No need for Borg groupthink here. I'm going to need to dissolve that edge when I get a chance. Okay, extrude that bad boy down. Extrude that doodad along the normal, not along XY, Z, along the normal. Oh yeah. There we go. Put some things and doodads in there. And doomums too. All right. Now I will be I will be joining the top with the bottom. I had to make this. The reason this is open here is because I did some changing on the depth of this. Oh, there's more to do here. I need to remember. Okay, let me get rid of this. I need to add some detail in here. Look at my head though. My head has got a gap in it. Let me fix that head. Hide all this junk. Go ahead and close up my head. Whoa. The head has got so many polys. Look at that. I'm glad it looks intimidating. I think that's what they had in mind. Alright, so this, close all this junk up. Got a mirror modifier just sitting there waiting to be applied. That's the way I like it. Okay. Let me look at some reference images because I think I have to cut some holes and stuff in here. Some detailing, some mechanical detailing. Just have a look at some images here. Y'all can't see what I'm looking at, but I think there's a big sort of gap that's got a bunch of greebling that goes. Oh yeah. That goes in that head section. In fact, the studio head sections. No, all right. I'm overthinking again. Okay. So there's going to be a big sort of gap right here. 3. Let me do it this way. There's some mechanical junk in there. I'm going to have to figure out if some of you Blender gurus might know this. If Blender has a Greeble modifier, if Blender 2.81 has that, because if it does, I can put some greebling in there, because there's some mechanical nonsense junk in here that will need to be added at some point. Should I leave it in two sections, or should I merge the center section? Let me look at some reference images. Getting seriously hungry. It's noon here. I may be coming to a stopping point soon, although I'll want to keep going. I think I will go ahead and merge this. No, I won't. I'll leave it. I'm going to leave it like that. Creative license after all. Alright, now in the intersection there is a big sort of piece that comes down here, and it's got a lot of lights on it. Look at some other reference images here. Okay. And how far back do they go? I think they go really far. Alright. Oh wow, I didn't know I could do that. Okay, whatever. Let me just do... Need to extrude all this down. I'm going to go back pretty damn far. In fact, let me get this stuff too, because I'm going to make this... I have some ideas about what I want to do dynamically on here. Maybe not quite that much. Let's see. No. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, David. No spoilers. Maybe not the Defiant, but this is where something goes. This is where something goes. Alright, I'll give you the spoiler. I'll give you the spoiler. One of the secret abilities of this ship is to hide other cloaked ships inside here. They have to be small enough. So, they have to be small enough to clear the center plane where there may be a warp field going between the nacelles. But you can hide cloaked ships in here, and they can be serviced, they can be deployed. Like, so if you see a D'Deridex decloak, keep in mind it may have been carrying, since the D'Deridex is generally faster than smaller ships, not as fast as Enterprise D, but faster than a lot of smaller ships, it will gladly sort of carry them along and hide them and strategically deploy them. Oh, damn it, I'm just realizing. Here's what I want to do. Knife. Okay. Make this a little bit more, what do you call it? What's the word I'm looking for? Just gonna change the proportions on this a little bit. In a little more. Temporarily remove this mirror so I can see to delete these. Boom. Add my mirror back in. All right. Now, let's extrude that again. I'm gonna have to make some docking clamps up here, or some docking ports here and here as well, somehow. the work that has to be done. The work is real. Okay. I think that's pretty good. Okay. And let's just look at a reference image. There's a big ass light right around there. Big ass light right around here somewhere. So we'll make this the source of it. Don't like how it auto smoothed there. I'll probably have to add some sharp edges to make that work right. Okay. All right. It may seem like I'm spacing out, don't worry. I'm just grokking. Get rid of those faces. Let me go ahead and put some sharp edges on there. Mark sharp. Mark sharp. Good. And one more time. One more little extrusion. Don't need all this center junk. No, boys and girls, all we have to do is get all these vertices at position 0. Or edges. Go ahead and re-add my mirror modifier. Close that bad boy up. Close that up. And close that up. All right. All right. I'm dreading having to do it, but I need to add some sort of module here because I think I want to have a mount there where ships can actually come in and dock inside this damn thing. Because, oh, also there is, looking at the original D'Deridex, there's actually an inner, there's a part that goes in a little bit. There's a, okay. Alright, so what I'll do is, yeah, right around here, thank you, David. Yeah, around here there's some stuff that goes, extrudes in, so let me go ahead and take care of that now. Good. That's fine, that's enough. It's not exactly like the original, but that's okay. Now, I'm going to add something here. And I have not thought out how, because see, the idea is that before this thing embarks on whatever mission, it's mission specialty ships, whether they be tactical or whatever, scouts even, they're going to fly in through here and then they're going to dock up with some clamps right there. And now I'm thinking about whether there should be, what mechanism that would look like. But I could be overthinking it. Normally, alright, I know what to do. 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 I think I know what to do. Okay. Alright. Another extrusion. This is going to house the docking mechanisms. Yeah, they're probably force fields or tractor beams for the most part. You know, one could spend a lot of time modeling such a mechanism if it were a mechanical mechanism. But what I think I'm going to do is actually just put a cylinder in here. In fact, let me add that right now on my 3D cursor. I'll add like 3 cylinders in here, and we will say that they are what actually extend out and couple with the ship, whatever ship it might be. Or what I could do is 2 mechanisms on the side, but I don't have time to all that. I think probably what would happen is that doors would open for all of that. But let me just add a cylinder there. I'll just do that. Tab. Add mesh. Add cylinder. Whoa. No. What the hell have I done? It's too big. Why won't it move? I'm trying to scale it down. I don't want to. Oh, I'm in edit mode. That's why. Dark. That's still not. Global. Something is stuck because it won't let me scale this down. Try again. Add mesh cylinder. Same thing again. Yeah, I just went into edit mode and said screw it. I'll do it that way. I don't know why this thing is being difficult. I may have accidentally locked it or something. I don't know what I did. Okay. See if it'll let me do it now. Nope. I don't know if this works or not. Be adding several of them. Okay. Yeah, saving and restarting. I might. I suspect I've locked something accidentally. I don't know what. Okay. I think I'm just going to copy this. Let me name it so I know what's going on. Docking. So. Seems to be letting me move them, but not scale them. Scale. Select only locations. Tool. modifier. I'll just do it in edit mode. It is flummoxing me for sure. Oh well, you know what? It is lunchtime, and I'm thinking it's time to break and get something to eat. So I'm probably gonna do that, and I'll probably continue a bit on my own after that. Might do the feather section for the bottom on my own, and/or figure out how to make these feathers a little bit smoother. Stretched out cylinder edge. Ridiculously stretched out cylinder edge. Well, I don't know about that. Can we see that once more before you... Let me save while I'm thinking about it. And then I think I'll just save again as 11. Number 11. It's the 11th version so far. Want me to see something? Want to see something terrible? Watch this. Oh, that's locked too. I can't scale anything. Yeah, there's something to do with my scale key that's locked. I don't know why. But if you want to see me ruin something, I've saved, so I don't care. Let's just go nuts here. Let's do that. And then let's do that. Let's do that. Let's do something fun. Wah! Whoa, look at what I did. Okay, now let's do a render. It's rendering from wherever the camera is. Oh, look at what I made. I'm gonna save this. I saved this image. Hang it. I'll go to the render mode so you can see what I've done. Check that out. Oh yeah, that. Well, you should be able to see it in a second. Yeah, that is maybe it's a 25th century Warbird. But luckily, I didn't permanently screw it up. I can just go back over here and just simply go Control Z, Control Z, Control Z. Everything's back to normal. Thank God, right? Okay. Alright, I'm gonna go eat. When am I gonna stream next? I'm not sure. It's really just whenever I fucking feel like it. I might stream some more tonight, but I'm gonna work on my own for a while. So I will see you guys later, and stay well, space friends.